Hi guys, Paul here, and this is going to be a quick rundown on using Superview for the GoPro Hero 3 range of cameras. And the specific ones we're talking about here is the GoPro Hero 3, the 3 Plus and the 4, and what you're looking at here is the Black Edition cameras. So keep that in mind. So essentially what Superview will allow you to do, it'll show a lot more movement within the frame. So as such, because there's a lot more sky and ground moving past the camera, so as a result, you end up with a video that looks as though you're actually traveling fast, and it gives you more of an accurate indication of the speed at which you're traveling. Quite often we'll find where Thomas and myself will do videos using the Mobius, and you might see some ground footage of the aircraft going past, you might see some FPV footage, and then you look at the actual HD footage from the Mobius and it doesn't look anywhere near as fast as what you visually saw with your eyes and what you captured from the ground, etc. And that's because you're capturing a lot less of the movement that you see in the FPV camera. And that'll kind of make more sense when I explain exactly how it is that the GoPro actually captures the video and what's actually occurring. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking the GoPro Hero 3 doesn't support Superview, and yes, it doesn't realistically support it, but you can actually still produce Superview in post, and it'll be exactly the same as what you can produce in the GoPro Hero 3 Plus and also the 4 edition. The only difference being you'll be recording at 30 FPS as opposed to 60 FPS. So that's probably the only downfall. But having said that, if you've got a GoPro Hero 3 camera, this is a worthwhile alternative because we're planning on running the GoPro Hero 3 and also the 3 Plus as our primary cameras on our better FPV mini quads. So a lot of you have seen Superview footage. You may not have realized it was Superview, and this is where some people look at the footage and say, look, this looks very different to my camera, and as such they've automatically assumed that the pilots actually sped up the footage, and a lot of pilots sort of get accused of that. I'm not saying some people don't speed up the footage. I've seen some that look quite funny where they have been sped up, but essentially Superview does give you a really nice feel and lots of motion blur, etc. So I'll explain to you exactly what Superview is. So what we're looking at here is Final Cut Pro. Now this is on a MacBook, but it doesn't matter. What I want you to take away from this is the process used here, and you can apply this to any editing application that you're using, whether it's Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere, Vegas, it doesn't really matter. Essentially the process is the same. So what we're looking at here is video taken with the GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition. And the reason I'm using the Black Edition, because this will actually explain exactly what's going on. So what we're looking at here is basically a project, and we're looking at video footage from the GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition. So not the Plus or the 4. And what I've done here is I've recorded the video in the 1440 at 30 FPS frame rate on the GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition. So what you're looking at here is a 4:3 image, and this is essentially the way the video is actually recorded. The GoPro Hero 3 will actually record using the full frame of the sensor. So you're recording using the whole sensor itself, the whole area basically. When you're recording at 1080p, this is with, it doesn't matter whether we're talking now the GoPro Hero 3 Plus or the 4, you're essentially cropping this information, which is lost, and also this information. Now in the GoPro Hero 3 Plus and also the 4 edition, when you do record in Superview mode, what it'll do is actually compress this down to here and compress this one up to here. So essentially what you're getting is a 4:3 image squished down to 16:9. And that's what you're actually seeing. So as such, when you're flying along, you're seeing this extra movement here and also the extra movement up top. So hence giving you an impression that you're actually traveling quite fast. And that's what we want with especially the mini quads when you're flying down low. You want as much movement going past the camera as possible. So this is why a lot of the pilots are actually using Superview. So you're wondering now, if you're filming, say for argument's sakes, with a GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition, how can you achieve Superview? And I'll show you exactly how you go about doing that. It's actually really easy to do. Okay, we'll go to this project here. And what I have here is a video that's been shot with GoPro Hero 3 Plus in Superview. And what you're essentially looking is that full frame image and it's actually been squished down and everything's sort of squashed a little bit. But generally speaking, looking at trees and all that, you're not going to really notice that unless you were flying slowly and looking at people or looking at cars and realizing that things are slightly distorted. But having said that, it does give you a good impression of speed. So what we'll do is move on to here. Now this is the footage from a GoPro Hero 3 and it's recorded in 1440 resolution. So as such, it's actually using the full sensor. So to make this actually look like Superview, it's actually really easy to do. All you need to do is get into your editing application, and I'm going to do some scaling. Now, you don't want to scale this direction because that's basically going to give you exactly what you would see at 1080p in normal widescreen. So what we want to do is actually scale it, but we want to only scale it in the X direction. So what we want to do is stretch this video out that way and that way because we don't want to lose any information from the bottom or the top. So we'll scale only in the X direction. And once you do that, you're essentially looking at Superview. So this is footage here from the GoPro Hero 3 Plus, and the footage over here is from the GoPro Hero 3. And there you go, pretty much exactly the same thing. So, and I've actually done a side-by-side comparison, actually compared them, and it's exactly what's actually occurring. So essentially you're recording the full image from the full sensor. So this is a good little trick that you can actually apply to the GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition. And if you've obviously got the GoPro Hero 3 Plus or the 4, well, this doesn't become an issue, but Superview is a really good way of actually filming your videos and actually achieving image that looks really pleasing to the eye, and you're seeing a lot of movement, and as such it looks actually quite fast. So this is one way of achieving Superview with the GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll leave you to watch the rest of the video. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later.